Mm. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to our recovery support group. This is our mentoring session, and today we're going to have a very interesting topic. I think you will enjoy. We can learn something. We both can learn something. So, this article that I'm bringing you today is from Liftoff. That's right, liftoffrecovery.com. You know, like a rocket, lift off. All right, and so you get the gist of what the link is. All right, so let's get into it. I am Craig. If I haven't stated already, I'm someone in recovery as well. And so today's topic, 10 key life skills for people in recovery. 10 key life skills. Uh-oh. Uh, let me edit that because that's not correct on the screen. Okay. I got the wrong. There we go. Let me see. There we go. Now we're back in action. And what does that says? Let's go. 10 key life skills for people in recovery, mentoring recovery support group. All right. And so I want to get that right because that's very, very important. We're talking about 10 key life skills, plural, skills, not singular, but plural for people in recovery. So the first one we want to get right into, and that is clean surroundings, right? Clean surroundings. It's important to learn how to maintain clean living spaces. This skill is about more than practicing discipline. Prac- Maintaining clean surroundings is especially important if you have family members. It will also make it much easier for you to return home. Even if you're not in recovery, living with other people presents challenges and obstacles. By learning to keep your space clean and tidy, you also learn the importance of respecting others and considering others' wants and needs. So there is a lot to learn about a clean or about clean surroundings. Okay. All right. Because you learn not only respect your space, but other people's space as well. And it's also very important to be organized if you can be. You know, do your best, work on it, and sometimes it may be a struggle if you have multiple things going on. The article said if you're living with other people, so there may be things, habits, behaviors that uh, may not be as like yours. It may be different. It may be enhanced. However, be mindful. That's the whole gist of it. Be mindful of clean surroundings. All right. Once again, we're talking about 10 key life skills for people in recovery. Right. And so the first one we talked about clean surroundings. The second one we want to go into, and that is financial responsibility. This article says you must also learn about managing your finances. When you're in recovery, financial management can prove difficult. In many cases, someone who's in recovery is used to using their money to fulfill their immediate desires, right? In a transitional housing program, you can once again learn to purchase personal products and food as well as pay rent. You'll also learn how to buy everything you need that's not provided by the program. You'll also learn many skills related to financial responsibility. For an example, you'll learn more about budgeting and saving. You'll also learn about planning for expenses. And so, as I stated earlier, I'm someone in recovery. I went to a therapeutic community peer recovery program, and that was provided through the Department of Correction. And so, while I was going through the program process, and making a transition back home, re-entering back to society from the Department of Correction. I had to go to a halfway house. Just make the short story shorter and sweet. So while you're at the halfway house, just as this article says, if someone's returning from residential treatment going to a sober living house, you'll learn how to uh, budget your money, financial responsibility. They teach you about saving. They teach you about purchasing your own items and also uh, having uh, an itinerary and things of that nature. And whereas you learn to begin to uh, put all your financials in order. I had to have a savings account. Most people had a savings account. We had to learn about paying house dues. We call it house dues. I guess that's what the halfway house call it as well. And we paid a portion of our pay from working. And so that gave us an idea or general start of what it would look like to be financially responsible. All right. Being able to work, maintain a savings account, and pay towards your expenses. All right. And so I didn't know there was so much similarity from uh, sober living structure as well as a halfway house structure. One is basically geared towards those who coming out of residential treatment most of the time, and those who are coming out of incarceration. So, very interesting. Next one, we're going to talk about food preparation. All right, this is vital. All of this information we're talking about because we're talking about life skills, and so all this information is so vital. And once again, yeah, we're talking about mentoring. So a lot of times, it's good to have good role models present, good examples that we can learn from people that can help us and guide us through the process of recovery. And so, one of the things we just talked about is clean surroundings, financial responsibility. Now we're on food preparation. All this coincide with life skills, all right? It says, when you're in recovery, it's essential to make healthy food choices. It's also vital to learn how to create a meal plan, okay? And so this aspect of meal plan. And so in recovery, we have what we call a recovery treatment plan or a recovery management plan. All of this is so vital to restructuring one lifestyle from the other, because one can be, while we're in our addiction, one can be unhealthy, can be chaotic, it can be confusing. But now that we are in recovery, now we begin to put everything in perspective. This article says, likewise, you might need to relearn to shop for groceries. All right, it may sound small, but it is so true and it's so helpful for a lot of us. You could also need to once again learn how to prepare your own meals. Learning these competencies will help you to rebuild your basic problem solving skills. In transitional housing, you'll learn plenty of time to practice these skills. You'll also have time to develop a system that works best for you. Learning this skill will also give you an opportunity to bond with those around you. As a bonus, as you perform various activities related to food preparation with your peers, you could end up forming a lifelong friendship. Okay? Peers, if you don't know what a peer is someone who are just like you and I, who share same or similar background experience, all right, and someone that we can relate to and who are relatable. The next one we want to talk about gainful employment. Gainful employment. A good job is one of several things that makes life more meaningful. Gainful employment is especially important for someone who's in recovery. A transitional housing program might help you work towards employment by starting out in volunteer work. From volunteering, you can move on to finding regular employment. Typically, a program will help you learn how to search for employment using different methods. It will also teach you how to fill out applications and create and update your resume. You also learn how to present yourself during a job interview. All of these things that I'm speaking on, I had to go through myself. I had to learn how to volunteer. I didn't really understand that that was part of the structure process of recovery or reestablishing myself in a healthy lifestyle because that's something that I did when I was in the halfway house. I volunteered, work in the kitchen, even though I was looking at it. Well, I wasn't getting paid for it with money, but they would give us extra food, things like that. But it also gave me something to do, and so I enjoyed, being able to help. And so eventually, I was able to learn job skills. I had learned how to do interview skills, and eventually I went out and got gainfully employed, where I was able to save money and be able to make a smooth transition because it's very helpful to have some type of employment. All these things that we just covered thus far is very vital in our life skills preparation. I don't care if you're in a reentry from incarceration or you are reestablishing yourself from residential treatment. All of these things are important. Clean surrounding, financial responsibility, food preparation, gainful employment. The next one is goal settings. Before I read this article, my goal settings, I used to tell myself, what are my goal settings? And a lot of times we used to go to classes and groups, employment classes, then they would ask us, write down your goals, whether it be short term, mid range, or long term. And so I used to ponder and I would write down my goals. And I'll say, well, my first short term goals is to get my identification back. That was, get my birth certificate, get my social security, get my driver's license. All these things is so important because it helps you when you're applying for certain things in life. And so most of the time, 9/10 of the time, people would need some type of identification to identify who you say you are. All right. And so this one says goal setting. Learning how to establish goals should serve as one of your top objectives in recovery. For instance, someone may have abused substance for years. In this case, feelings of hopelessness may have become normal. In the midst of drug addiction, many people live each day without aspirations or life goals. Okay? Some people may have never set a goal in their life. However, recovery is the perfect time to start defining and going after personal goals. With goals, you can keep your life moving forward. You also keep old habits from creeping back into your routine. As an example, you may open a savings account. Alternatively, you might start running several times a week. You can even volunteer for a community organization if you desire. You can even break your goals down into smaller parts to make them easier to achieve. For instance, you can want to find employment. In that case, you can set a goal such as submitting 3 applications a week until you find a job. I hope these are some helpful hints or helpful information that you can look at and say, I can apply these life skills, these list of objectives in my life that I can utilize on my journey to recovery. And so that's the goal here, is to be able to pour into others with some healthy information, some healthy guides that can turn your life around and get you moving forward with a better outcome. All right. And so the next one we want to talk about or discuss, then, that is healthy relationships. Okay. Another one of the most important things you can do in recovery is to relearn how to build healthy relationships. Mastering skills for relationship is challenging for addicts in recovery. All right. We may have that trust issue. All right. Or we may be afraid to open up about our past, things of that nature. So establishing or rebuilding healthy relationships is very important. Already you're adjusting to your new life of sober living. At the same time, your friends and family are also adjusting to your positive change. Your friends and family members could respond to your newfound sobriety in many ways. No matter how they respond, it's important you learn how to communicate in a way that will build healthy relationships while you're on your path to recovery. All right? Oh man, this one I didn't see, but I'm going to cover it anyway. And the next one is called self-care. All right? Self-care. There are a common denominator among people who have an emotional relapse. That denominator is poor self-care, right? This skill emphasizes the importance of finding a high quality transitional housing program. This kind of program will help you recognize the importance of self-care. It will also help you see what self-care looks like every day. In a high quality transitional housing program, you'll learn and practice basic self-care. This practice may include getting sufficient sleep, eating right, and using the right coping strategies to overcome depression. You'll also learn how to overcome negative emotions and thoughts. All right. And so, one of the self care, and that is, I believe, doing those who will go to transitional housing or Oxford houses, uh, halfway houses, most of the time they are equipping people with recovery support groups. All right, recovery support groups, no matter what pathway that you're using, as long as it is keeping you on the straight and narrow. But nine times out of 10, the most common ones that you may hear or you may attend or that may be present is AA, Alcoholic Anonymous, or NA, Narcotics Anonymous. These are the familiar ones. I don't want to say the leading ones, but they are one of the two, I believe, the oldest recovery support groups that's still around. And so you can utilize this as part of your self-care, because in that way you'll be able to continue to identify some of your triggers. You will recognize your urges and your cravings, and you will be able to differentiate the people you need to be associated with, and the places you need to visit, and the things that you must use to keep you healthy. All right. This is some great information. Next one, time management. Okay, time management. This one can be difficult, but not too over challenging. It can be difficult, but not over challenging. We have to take our time and realize that, for me, I'm just keep focused on myself. What I had to do is to take one uh, let's see, one position or one task at a time. Sometimes I can multitask. Sometimes I have to sit back and say, well, let me knock out this task first, and then let me work on that. And then sometimes I can just flow once I get readjusted and get acclimated with all the tasks that I need to fulfill. All right. Time management. While you were in addiction, you most likely spent most of your time obtaining the drug of your choice. In recovery, however, you must learn how to fill your time pursuing positive goals. All right. For instance, you may pursue a fun activity. You might also spend time on recovery-oriented work. A great way to practice time management is to invest in a daily planner. You can use it to schedule your free time. Individual in recovery face an elevated risk of relapse due to boredom. With a daily planner, you can avoid boredom and reduce your chances of relapse. Structure is so key when it comes to time management, having some structure. I learned that structure for me is vital because a lot of times when I think of structure, I began to uh, realize that there are things that need to be done, should be done, and got to be done. And so, and so whether that going to bed early, waking up early, eating properly, reading some self-development material or attending group if that's something that you need to do. This article say journaling or a planner. If you're one of those people who need a planner, that's great. If you have a phone, if you want to place all your tasks or your meetings or things that you need to do throughout the week, place it on your electronic device, or if you're old school, get your planner. Okay. I know we live in a high technological era, and so there are people who rather have their information on the technological devices, such as a cell phone, such as a tablet or computer. Whatever works for you, utilize it for your best good. The next one is key to staying on the right track. Yes, this is our mentoring recovery support group. Today we're talking about 10 key life skills for people in recovery. This is mentoring recovery support group, and topic that we're on now that deals with relaxation. It's also vital you learn how to relax in any situation. A top reason recovery addicts relapse is because they use drugs or alcohol to reward themselves. With this in mind, it's vital to learn new skills that will enable you to relieve tension. Relaxation is a vital part of long term sobriety. You must learn how to calm down on your own. By doing so, you won't need to use drugs or alcohol to escape. Some people might think they're too busy to take time to relax. However, that's a falsehood. Your recovery must become the most important thing in your life. With this in mind, it's vital for you to understand that taking time for yourself is just as important as your other responsibilities. In other words, making time for you is just as important as everything else in your life. Okay? That's key. You know, I like what the article says about with this in mind, it's vital to learn new skills that would enable you to relieve tension, right? Relaxation, okay? And so in that way, you don't have to be cluttered and frustrated about a situation or something that you are confronted with and you may feel unease about. You be so alert and so equipped with your self care, relaxation, eating right, thinking right. And so when things come or when things don't run as smooth as you think they should, because let's face it, in reality, we can work on self help, we can do all the right things, and then something may come up and something may go wrong. but we still have to look at it as just a challenge and use our problem solving skills and work through them and then move forward. Right. And if you need somebody to assist in the process, if you don't know how to do it on your own, it's always good to have someone that you can talk to that can help you through the process, whether it be a recovery coach, a sponsor, a counselor, a trusted friend or family member that you can confide in. Accountability partner, all right? That's something that you can utilize as well. The next one, we're moving right along. We're moving right along. Today, we're talking about 10 key life skills for people in recovery. And so now we are on the topic of honesty. In recovery, it's critical that you learn to always practice honesty with yourself and others. Addiction is a habit that requires lying by default. Let me read that again. Addiction is a habit that requires lying by default. Wow, that's heavy. That is heavy. You feel that you have to lie all the time for no apparent reason, and that is a problem. All right? Often you must lie to acquire your drug of choice. You must also lie when you're using it. Furthermore, you must lie to hide the effects that drug or alcohol have on you. All these lies create a horrible cycle. The more you lie, the less you like who you become. With this point in mind, it's critical to remain vigorously honest when you're in recovery. This practice is one of the most powerful skills you must immerse yourself in fully for successful recovering during drug addiction treatment. Honesty, okay? This is so true. I know when I was going through the recovery process, I would go through treatment program, I would go through the assessment program, I would go through the halfway house program, and most of these programs they will have signs on the walls or on the windows or on the doors, and it oftentimes if you're not tuned in your surroundings, you may just walk by and just think they're up there but they are reminders. They are stickers that should stand out and that we should take notice of. You may see posters that may say, for instance, honesty. You may see somewhere down the hall, you may see loyalty. You may see one that may say integrity, respect, purpose, love. And all these are stickers or signs or posters, messages that we should incorporate and we should consume and immerse ourselves into that and make that part of our character, because these are things that we can use when we're dealing with not only ourselves, but when we're dealing with others. All right. And so honesty, okay? Be honest about your recovery. The next one we want to talk about, and I want to share with you, we're almost down to the nitty gritty, but the next one is talking about understanding life skills. These skills are the tools you'll need to navigate the challenges of everyday life. For some people, they come naturally. For others, however, they're exceedingly hard to learn. Yet anybody can learn these important life skills with training and practice. In some instances, it helps to change your perspective when learning new life skills. You could think of learning these skills as taking on a new hobby. In other words, you could think of it as if you were learning a new interest like music. All right? We're talking about understanding life skills. Why life skills are so important? I'm glad you asked. Not everyone has received the same training and foundation in life skills. No matter your age, however, you can identify what you know with a little help. You can also process how you feel about what you need to learn intelligently. As you learn these life skills, you'll discover how to adopt healthy patterns of behavior. You also enhance your decision making. Most importantly, you improve your self image and self esteem. With the right life skills, you can reduce special health risks related to your addiction. You'll increase healthy behaviors. Furthermore, you'll learn how to protect yourself from self harm. You'll also learn how to reduce any tendencies you might have for violent behavior. All right. And so, the last part I want to share with us, and that is dimensions of recovery. Before you start to develop new skills, you must learn the dimensions of life and recovery. These dimensions will serve as your foundation for building new skills. They'll help you create an environment and lifestyle that support your sobriety. Okay? The Substance Abuse and Mental Health Service Administration, better known as SAMHSA, all right, outlines four major dimensions that support your life and recovery. And the first one is community. In recovery, you need social support. This support is the key to maintaining a life of sober living. Everyone in recovery should build and maintain healthy relationships. These relationships will provide critical support when you need it the most. They'll supply you with the love that everyone needs. Community ties can also help you to find long lasting friendships. The second one, that is health. During your recovery, you must also make the right decision about your health. These decisions must support your life and recovery. For an example, you should refrain from all drug and alcohol use. You must also maintain a proper diet. Likewise, you should develop a healthy exercise and meditation routine. You must also learn how to properly manage common emotional issues. These issues might include anxiety, depression, and stress. The third one we want to talk about and share of the dimensions of recovery, and that is home. There's something everyone should have that's especially important to those who are in recovery. You must have a safe, stable place to live. You need a place where you can feel secure. This place must allow you to share and live out your beliefs. In other words, you must feel supported where you live. At all times, you should feel safe and comfortable, right? The dimensions of recovery. And the last one is purpose. As a person in recovery, it is essential for you to participate in meaningful activities. What's more, you must participate in these activities every day. In the beginning, you may need to volunteer for activities to ensure that you're doing something productive, staying busy. Eventually, however, you can turn your energies toward going to work. In the meantime, you might attend group and creative activities. It's important for you to have the independence and resources to serve as an active member of society. These benefits are essential for a purposeful and meaningful life. Planning for the future. For many people, there are a few things that mean the most when they're in recovery. Of course, sobriety is the top priority, right? Next, a good job has considerable meaning to someone who's recovering from addictions. Positive relationships are also vital and important for someone who's trying to improve their life. In general, a life of achievement and fulfillment is what means the most to people who are in recovery. To fulfill this need, some individuals might pursue higher learning. Others may make an effort to reunify with family members. No matter what it takes for you to feel fulfilled in life, however, remember, It's always vital for you to maintain your emotional health. That is good information. That is a whole lot. But remember, we're talking about today, we'll share today 10 key life skills for people in recovery. And so the first one I believe we discussed, and that was what? A clean surrounding, right? That was the first one. Then we talked about financial responsibility. Then we talked about food preparation, gainful employment, goal setting, right? Then we talked about healthy relationships, time management, relaxation, right? And we went on to talk about honesty, right? And we shared understanding life skills. All right, that's it for me for this week. Until the next week, tell a friend that we're on 3 p.m. every Thursday talking about mentoring recovery support. All right, what it means to support each other, to be leaders, to be role models, to be an example of what a healthy person should do in recovery. All right. Continue to work on your sobriety. Until the next time, my name is Craig. Whatever you do, stay positive. Take care.